Three, two, one, action. Welcome back to episode 13 of As Seen on Screen. I'm Gracie.
And I'm Nicole, and this is your source for entertainment news, reviews, interviews, and conversations.
You can find us wherever you listen or watch your podcasts on Spotify and YouTube.
Yeah, but we have an exciting episode to get into today. Lots is happening. So let's just jump right into it. This past week, we got two new trailers from exciting releases in the fall. So we have the first trailer for Joker, Folie à Deux, and A Complete Unknown. So did you watch either of them, both of them?
I didn't get to watch the full trailer for either of them because I was at work when they both dropped. Uh, love their timing.
Right?
But
Always such great.
from the start of both trailers that I did see, they look very promising. I mean, I'm still kind of having a hard time with Timothy Chalamet playing Bob Dylan. I don't know. I don't really see it. And everybody's like, oh, I see it. And then now there's this whole debate about if he sounds like him when he's singing. And that goes back to the whole Austin Butler uh thing where it's like, does the actor have to change his voice to be the person? I don't know. I feel like I have to see the movie as a whole before I start judging anything.
True. Very true.
Um, as for Joker, I mean, it's always unhinged. It's Joker. I They're bringing in Lady Gaga, so expect the unexpected. It
Right?
it looks very musical, which I knew was going to happen, but
Yeah.
it's also very strange to me for this type of movie. So I think it's definitely gonna be something that this universe of film hasn't seen before. And I'm excited to see how they play with it because, let me be honest, the first Joker wasn't my favorite. Uh,
I agree. Thank you.
I
Thank
was
you.
I was really bored.
Right?
And I feel really bad for saying that because of all the hype it got, but there were moments I got into it, and then there were moments where I was like, what is the point of these scenes? So I guess it's to each their own type thing, but I am excited to see what they do with the second one. So I don't know. What do you think about these trailers? Did you watch them?
I did watch them actually. I watched them this morning before we filmed this because I hadn't had a chance either. Um, I agree with you about the Joker trailer looking very musical, and a lot of people in the comments on social media on the posts had a lot to say about that. I think a lot of people were very much against it being more musical, and people seemed upset that it had a lot of more musical elements, and they didn't necessarily want to see this or felt like it fit with the story and the characters and the direction of the first film. So we'll definitely see where that goes. But I am very excited to see Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn because I think she'll do a fantastic job. It looks phenomenal in the trailer, just the how the two interact with each other. I so I'm very excited, but I do agree with you that I think I wanted to like Joker a lot. Like I just heard nothing but amazing things, and I actually had never seen it until I think I was on the Christmas break last year. It's like last December. I finally watched it, and I was like it was fine. I don't know. I agree. I was bored for a lot of it. I loved the third act. The third act was great of the film. But like it was okay. So maybe this one will be a little bit more alive with the music. A little
Yeah,
more
I don't know.
lively, who knows. But the trailer for A Complete Unknown looks really good too. I mean, I think it's always hard to envision another actor sometimes playing, especially singers, like you said, like matching the voice and being realistic to who this person is. And it's hard to it's hard to find someone who's going to match another person perfectly, right? Like especially voice and stuff like that. So I think it looks good. I definitely am excited to see more trailers and things come out for it as we get closer to the release for the movie. But I'm excited for both. I mean, the fall lineup of movies looks promising, so I'm excited to see more promos come out for other movies too.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the fall lineup for movies, shout out to Tiff because
Yeah,
we are both going back.
yes, we are going back for a second year, and I'm very excited this year because we actually are both accredited under our like I'm for my radio station and Gracie for backstage, but also for this podcast. So we're very, very excited to be going for both. And there's going to be tons of content that we release during the festival and after for you guys. So stay tuned for that. It's only a few weeks away now, which is kind of stressing me out. But anyways.
I know. I'm so excited.
But yeah, there's gonna be tons, and we'll definitely talk about it more on here as the movies are released. We have a ton we know already in the lineup, but the official lineup comes out August
August
13th.
13th.
So we will have all the information for you then. We are very excited.
Yeah. But moving on in the world of entertainment, to music, Bailey Madison, who many know from the new Pretty Little Liars that we've talked about on here before, or Wizards of Waverly Place when she was a kid. She released her new single Chiller actually today on July 26th. She announced it yesterday on July 25th. I think, I don't know, I'm still getting used to her doing music because I see her as like such a powerhouse actress. And
Yeah.
then it kind of throws me off when she does music, but like, you go, girl. You do both.
I enjoyed it. It's definitely like it's very poppy and upbeat. It's fun. Um, I think I liked her other single, Kind of Fun, which came out January 12th of this year. I liked it a little better, but I do like this one. It definitely has like a good summer vibe to it. Yeah, it's fun. But I
I
agree with you. It's
just,
weird to think of her as a singer sometimes because I'll just think of her as different roles that she's done.
yeah. And I also go back to like, I think of her boyfriend whenever she releases music, which I know is bad, but he is a musician. So I'm like, I
Yeah.
wonder how he, like, did he listen to the song before? Did he help out? Like, my mind
I
goes to
actually
that.
I believe he co-wrote it with her. I think when I saw it, I
Oh,
think he did have a big hand in this one.
we love a power couple.
Love it. Have you ever seen the show The Good Witch from it's like Hallmark Channel?
Oh my God, I think I've watched bits and pieces of it.
I always watched that with my mom because those started out as movies like earlier in
Yeah.
the 2000s and there was a big collection of those and then there was a TV series that I watched with my mom when I was younger. It was like maybe like 2015 to 2020-ish, something like that. So it's a few years old now since it stopped. But Bailey Madison was the daughter in that show and I loved her in that
Eh,
and of course, our Wizards of Waverly Place. So I just love her. She's such
I'm
a great
pretty
actress.
sure, I don't know why, but I'm pretty sure she was in Once Upon a Time too, wasn't she?
I think so. Here, I'll double check.
Like I just haven't, she's been in everything.
Every time I see something that she's oh, The Fosters is another one I love her in. I just
Yeah.
Fosters. Yeah, it says who did she play in Once Upon a Time? She was
She was a younger version of someone, I think.
young Snow White. 4 episodes. She was
Wow,
young.
I am so good at this.
Look at you go. I also love her in The Strangers Pray at Night, which was the movie before On My Ceiling. The Strangers Chapter 1 came out. Um, but yeah, she's
I
been
I loved her in Megan Trainor's music video.
that is where you know her from.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
I my love for her kind of like came back when she was in Megan Trainor's music video. I was like, oh, I know this girl from somewhere. And then realized who it was. And then went on live with her.
I love that. Oh yeah.
Back to
God,
our
that
previous episode.
was like the first or second episode we talked about that. Love it. But yeah, now I feel like I'm reminiscing. Now I'm just looking at all of her Wikipedia filmography. I love it. Anyways, I'll stop going down memory lane now, but you get our point that Bailey Madison's great. So go listen to her new song, Chiller.
In more movie news, Rebecca Ferguson has joined the Netflix Peaky Blinders film cast. Not much is known about this other than the fact that Cillian Murphy is coming back to reprise his role. I don't know. I'm not good to talk about this because I didn't watch Peaky Blinders.
I did not either.
We're just like, we're an
Journalists we are.
entertainment podcast. We bring it up. Um, yeah, I tried watching it. I just couldn't get into it. So maybe that's me. but I'm definitely gonna try and restart it
Yeah.
because I do want to watch it and then watch this movie. Um, yeah, but they're both great actors, so I'm excited to see the dynamic that they bring to the screen. Obviously, it's hard to know what that dynamic is going to be since we don't know a plot, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And if you don't know who Rebecca Ferguson is just by us saying it, she has been in the first two Dune films. She was also in Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 last year. She's been in quite a few of the Mission Impossible movies. She was in The Greatest Showman, Doctor Sleep, The Girl on the Train, so you might know her from any of those movies. But I love her as an actress. She always puts on such a good performance, so I'm excited to see what kind of character she plays in Peaky Blinders. Um, but yeah. In other exciting news, this person I felt like I've seen everywhere over the past few weeks with all the Deadpool and Wolverine press, but Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel, received his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame last week, and it was a big celebration. Lots of people are saying it's one of the most memorable Hollywood Walk of Fame ceremonies that's seen in a while because tons of MCU stars, directors, whoever they may be, showed up to support him, including Sean Levy, who is the director of the new Deadpool and Wolverine, Louis Despacito, Sebastian Stan, Chris Evans, Catherine Hahn, David Harbour, Ke Kwan, Hugh Jackman, Emma Corrin, Ryan Reynolds, Simu Lee, Chris Pratt, and Brie Larson. So it was a huge crowd. I love the photo of them all at the star. I just think it's so sweet they came and supported him in this achievement. And he also spoke with Entertainment Tonight, and they asked the president what his favorite Marvel character is. So, oh, I feel like if you're the president of Marvel, I don't know if you have a favorite. I mean, come on
It's
now. I
one
feel
of
like they'd
those
all be
things, it's one of those
all
things
his
where you have to be
babies.
a parent where you're like, I love all my children equally.
Exactly. So his response to the question with Entertainment Tonight, he said he talked about Hugh Jackman, of course, and he remembers his first audition for X-Men 1, which is 25 years ago in Toronto, actually. So shout out Toronto. And he spoke about his journey to Deadpool and Wolverine today, and he loves him. He also shouted out Chris Evans, who was at the ceremony as well, with his Captain America character from First Avenger to Endgame. He said, I love them all. And he also shouted out Tony Stark, of course. And he said Robert Downey Jr. did with Jon Favreau, and he said they helped create the entire MCU, and none of it would be there today without them. So
So he
he
did
just
not
shouted out
answer the
everyone.
question. But
Um,
also, what a question. Like, what clickbait are you trying to get?
right? And I'm laughing at this article title because actually the title of this article in Entertainment Tonight is Kevin Feige names his favorite Marvel characters as he receives Hollywood Walk of Fame star exclusive. I don't think he did, actually. He
Did
said, I love them
he?
all.
Yeah.
Um,
Congratulations to him. It's so well deserved. I mean, this entire franchise, whether there's been some good and some bad,
yeah.
um, is so monumental to
Oh, yeah.
cinema and nerds and everything. So definitely well deserved. And I love that a bunch of the cast members and people who made it possible came to support. It
Absolutely.
really just shows like how tight knit the community is, and I love that.
I know. And it's just so massive. I mean, when I was looking at that photo, I was like, Catherine Hahn, it took me 2 seconds to click into her character in the MCU. Like, there's just so many parts of it together, whether it's TV shows or movies or even like little shorts that they release now for different ones. So I think it's awesome. Obviously, like you said, very well deserved for sure. And I love that they support each other and hold each other up. And you can tell that just within interviews from film to film to film, even if they aren't doing an interview for a specific MCU film, anytime they get asked questions they're always very supportive of the entire community of the MCU, which I think is amazing.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, Gracie's seeing the film tomorrow. I've already seen Deadpool and Wolverine. So we're gonna wait a few days for Gracie to see it, but we're going to insert a clip here of our official review for Deadpool and Wolverine.
With no spoilers.
Oh, absolutely. No spoilers, we promise.
So we're back. Uh, we're just including this in this week's episode, but we're filming it on a different day. We both got the chance to go see Deadpool Wolverine. Obviously, Nicole saw it before I did, but yeah, I mean, let's get right into it. What was your reaction? What was your review?
I loved I loved it. I'm pretty sure I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars in Letterboxd. I think one of the things I love most about this movie is it's just so entertaining all the way through. I know a lot of people online, and don't worry, anyone listening, this will be spoiler free. A lot of people online don't love um the plot as much, I would say, and saying like I've seen a lot of people say that it's not a very like intricate plot per se with like the aspects that side of it, which I can definitely understand. I've definitely seen Marvel movies with a but I don't know if I would say better plot, but I would say definitely more like intricate plot and storyline and like ties in backgrounds and stuff like that. So I would agree with that part, but overall, I think this movie is it's just so good. Like it was one of those movies where I most definitely was not checking the time or being like, when is this going to be over or anything like that. I loved the soundtrack was perfect, how they like intricated everything into it. I loved that. The jokes were spot on almost every single time. I thought they were so funny. I didn't there was I don't I can't even think of one joke that really fell flat for me. I think that was just great. And I think this the comedic chemistry and the energy between Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds is just perfect always. So I loved it. I thought it was great. And I love Dogpool. I mean, hello. Perfect.
I love Dogpool. I'm obsessed with Dogpool.
What did
I
you think?
love
What was
his
your
little
thought?
goggles.
Right, I know.
My heart. Anyway,
And his
yeah,
tongue,
I
ridiculous.
I agree. Honestly, I'm pretty sure I haven't rated it on Letterboxd yet, but I would definitely give it a 4.5 out of 5. I am going to see it again, so
Oh yeah, love it.
I'll give you that update after I see it a second time. But
Yeah,
this was a film that I was really excited for. Like, this was my summer movie. Like, this
yeah.
was what I was waiting for. Um, it did not disappoint. That being said, to your point of the plot, I was surprised with the plot because I don't know why, but it took a turn I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
Based off of what you see in the trailer. So I think that took me a minute to kind of wrap my head around, but it is still a strong plot. I just think it's one of those movies where it doesn't have to be super intricate and like complicated. It's just a feel-good movie. Yes, it is in the Marvel universe, but it's Deadpool. None of his are super intricated plots. Like,
Yeah.
let's be so for real. Um, yeah, acting spot on. The jokes spot on. I was surprised with the amount of jokes they got in that Disney allowed. Uh,
Right?
but I do like the digs at Disney for the jokes they were not allowed to make.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
there's a happy medium there.
I think I'm gonna say this. You tell me if you think it's a spoiler. I don't think it is, but
Okay.
I think my favorite joke in the movie, there was one aimed at a Gossip Girl reference because of course Ryan Reynolds was married to Blake Lively, starred in Gossip Girl. Um, that was so funny. I loved that one.
Literally, I caught on to that so fast and I thought it was so funny.
So
Just
good.
so out of nowhere. But
Right?
if you haven't watched Gossip Girl, you probably wouldn't understand it.
Yeah. The
Um,
only thing you need to know, really, to understand
because
it is that Blake Lively
I,
is
yeah,
brilliant.
Blake Lively, his wife, was the main character in Gossip Girl. So
Yeah.
I did have to explain that to the people I was watching it with. Um, and then they were like, oh,
There
so
was a Minions joke in the movie.
I
There
was
was a Minions
literally
joke in the movie.
as soon as the words came out of his mouth and he was like, who is your dialect coach? The Minions. I was like, I need to bring this up to Nicole because I know she was sitting in that theater freaking out.
Giggling.
Like I know you were just like
Oh my God. What did you think? Okay, actually, I I didn't I had to like think about it after I watched the movie, and I kind of realized because like I caught on to it in the moment, and then after I watched like when I got out of the theater, I kind of forgot where it was. But what did you think about where they placed The Greatest Show from The Greatest Showman? Because that's something we talked about before we watched the movie.
okay, this might be my one problem with the movie. It was so quick.
Right? That's why I
Like
was like, wait, when did that even happen again?
I heard it and then it stopped. And I was like, okay, this is you can't put that on the soundtrack if that's all we're getting.
That literally should not count. Like it
Like,
really should not count.
no way. I was kind of upset about that. Like when I heard it, I was like, yeah. And then it ended, and I was like, okay, so we're not seeing Hugh Jackman break
Yeah.
the fourth wall.
No, we are not. What did you think of the reveal? I don't even know if I should say reveal of who Lady Deadpool was.
Dude, I was so mad.
Right? I
I
knew
was
right
so
away
mad.
'cause the voice. I knew right away the voice. And when the credits rolled, it confirmed it.
Yeah.
But what the heck? Why did they make that such a big thing?
Plot twist to anyone who's watching this. Lady Deadpool does not take her mask off.
No, no.
And that makes me
It was
so upset.
there was no point to everyone being like, "Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be?" Because it could not matter less.
Literally, I was so
Matt,
upset. I was like, this is the
did
biggest
you
piece of
hear?
clickbait I've ever
Right?
seen in my life.
Did you hear Matthew McConaughey's voice as
I did.
Cowboy Deadpool? That
Yeah.
was funny.
A lot of people were making a conspiracy that Walker Scobell was Kid Pool,
But
but
wasn't it his own kid? Wasn't it
I believe it was
right?
his own
Yeah.
kid. Spoiler for anyone.
Again, you don't see them, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
But
it's just a voice. This is the most like unorganized review of a movie we have ever given.
right, we're just going random elements.
Long
But
story short, here's our summary. Um, Nicole and I both really enjoyed this movie. I think there's definitely aspects that you can enjoy further if you are a Marvel fan,
yeah,
as opposed to just watching it. There are a few jokes that will just go over your head if you don't understand the Marvel or DC universe, which is
yeah.
fine. There's still lots of jokes.
That
The
won't go over
action,
your head.
yeah, the action is there. The gore is there. Obviously not as much. Thank you, Disney. Um, but it's a Deadpool movie. It's Deadpool Wolverine. People have been waiting years for this.
Oh yeah.
Go see it. You have to see it.
And they killed it. So you have to go see it.
Yeah. And who doesn't love Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman?
Right? I have to say too, before we end this, I think, again, not a spoiler, but I think my favorite scene from the film, or at least one of them, very high up there, is the opening scene. I
I
thought
was just gonna
that
say that.
was so good. It was so funny. I loved it. I thought they killed that. And it's all over my TikTok for you page.
Literally.
It's like every other the song comes on that plays in it, and my mom even knows. My mom now every time she like walks past me or something, she's like, "You're still watching that?"
The way I was sitting glued to that screen for
Oh
the
yeah.
whole entirety of that opening.
Yep.
Just the biggest smile on my face,
Same.
freaking out and giggling. Iconic.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah,
loved it. I thought they killed it
they
in
did.
every way.
100%.
I can't wait. I'm gonna go. I have to go see it again, but oh,
It
love
does
it.
make me upset though that it wasn't Ryan Reynolds,
Yes. Yes.
but
But
I kind of knew
whatever his yeah, yeah. I was like, there's no way
Ryan
Ryan
Reynolds ain't
holding
dancing
out
like
on
that.
these dance moves for us for this long.
Yeah, I was like, Ryan Reynolds, you're a dancer, but that ain't you.
That is not you dancing. That is
Yeah.
just not your caliber.
Anyway, yeah, definitely go check out Deadpool Wolverine. It's in theaters
Yes.
now. Um, or check it out when it comes out on DVD or streaming, which I'm sure it will.
But I'm
It's
telling you, go see it in the theater.
you gotta see it. It's a must-see movie.
Yes. 100%. Well, back to the podcast. Okay, so we hope you enjoyed our review of Deadpool and Wolverine, and of course, you can see that in theaters now, and I totally suggest it because any movie is best seen in the theater, but especially this one. But we are now going to play a bit of a game, switching gears a little bit. I keep seeing these on TikTok. There's an account, probably there's many, but there's one account specifically that keeps coming up on my For You page where they show you four different movie posters and you have to guess the year that those films came out in. So of course, all four films that they show on one screen is from one year. And then how Gracie and I would be playing it is we'll be telling each other four different movies of this that were released in the same year. And we have to guess what year it's from, not being able to like look up when the movie came out or anything. So guess the year based on the four movies that we give each other. Okay, so I'll start off by giving Gracie her first four movies. Okay, guess the year based on Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Hitch, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
I mean, obviously it's the 2000s. Goblet of Fire. Trying to say, okay, I was in high school when the last Harry Potter came out. I want to say like 2008, 2012.
Nope,
When was it?
2005. So close.
So close yet so far.
So close.
Okay. Your four movies are 17 again, Up, The Proposal, and the original Zombieland.
2009. The only reason I know that is because Up is the very first movie I ever went and saw in the movie theater for my fifth birthday. My mom took both my sister and I to movie theaters for the first time when we were 5. Little Up House.
Yeah, I don't like losing.
Your next four are Space Jam, Jerry Maguire, Mission Impossible, and Twister.
Oh, 19, probably let's say 1990. No. Yeah. Say it one more time.
Space Jam,
Yeah.
Jerry Maguire,
Yeah.
Mission Impossible,
Yeah.
and Twister.
Part of me, I don't know why, but I'm feeling 1996.
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah.
It's probably because I just recently watched Twisters again with Sophie, and it said on the thing when it was.
I was like, I feel like saying Twister is a good clue.
Your four movies are The Cabin in the Woods, Captain America, The First Avenger, Just Go With It, Bridesmaids.
Okay, between 2 years in my head. Um, oh, I feel like hmm, I'm gonna guess 2014.
Close.
2013?
No, 2011.
Oh, darn. Your movies, next one, are Monsters University, Iron Man 3, Despicable Me 2, and Gravity.
Okay, that's so unfair because you know all the Despicable Me's. Iron Man 2?
3, Iron Man 3,
Okay.
Despicable Me 2.
Oh, okay. I want to say 2012.
So close.
When was it?
2013.
Dang it. At least I was close.
That's very close. That was good.
Okay. Your last ones. Ready Player One, A Simple Favor, Crazy Rich Asians, and the original Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
I want to say 2018.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you won that by one.
That's a fun. Every time I play, if I'm like looking at TikTok and I'm playing this on TikTok, I'm always off by like a year or two, and it makes me so angry every time. I'm like, why do I know this but not know it enough?
Yeah, no.
Oh, but hopefully all of you listening were guessing along and you got a few right of your own. Um, That's a fun game. We should definitely play that again because that
Yeah,
was good.
yeah.
But moving on, what is your watch of the week, Gracie?
My watch of the week was the new Twisters.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Um, I feel like you definitely gave it a higher rating than I did. But
I think so.
that could be because of the fact that you saw it like before it came out and it was a Q&A with the cast
True.
afterwards. So
True.
it kind of plays into that. I thought it was good. I feel like there were not as many moments that kept me on the edge of my seat as I would have liked. Like obviously
Yeah.
there was the start. There was the first time Glenn Powell goes into the tornado. There's another one that I can't say. And then there's the last like big one.
Yeah.
That's solid four, but in a like two almost 3 hour long movie, that is not enough. Like the original Twisters, or the original Twister, sorry, just kept me stressed the entire time. So I don't know. I guess that's what I was expecting for this one. I also expected Daisy's character to be the child of the original uh characters, but I guess that was just my imagination.
Gracie was going for a legacy movie.
Yeah, I was. It makes sense because she has the same like
Yeah.
ideas that they had, and she has the same senses that she can sense tornadoes and which way they're going. So it
Yeah.
kind of made it seem like it, and then they revealed her mom, and I was like, oh, uh,
Never mind.
I was like, who's that? That being said, the visual effects in this was phenomenal. The acting was so great. I love the chemistry that Glenn Powell has with Daisy, but as we know, Glenn Powell has chemistry with literally everyone.
I
Uh,
think Glenn Powell could walk up to like a pole and make chemistry happen with this pole because I swear.
yeah, dude just has something about him that really works with everyone.
Charisma. Just like completely.
Yes. Yeah, but no, the entire cast was so phenomenal. You can tell that they were really passionate about what they were making, which
Yeah.
always transfers through a movie.
Yeah.
It was a lot funnier and like joke induced than the original one was, which kind of threw me off, but to be expected.
Right.
Uh, yeah, it was a good movie. I give it a solid like 3.5 out of 5. Pretty sure you gave it like a 4 or 5 out of 5, but
Think yeah, 4 out of 5. I I enjoyed it. I One aspect I don't think I mentioned in my review a few weeks ago that I meant to. I really liked that Daisy Edgar Jones' character was the lead. I liked how she was the front woman and Glenn Powell and Anthony Ramos's character were both like kind of just side like not they weren't side characters, but she was definitely the main character and they had her back kind of the entire time, which I thought was great. I liked seeing her in the starring role. But yeah, I think you're right too. It always helps when you have like a Q&A or like the excitement of it, whatever it may be, beforehand. But I definitely want to go see it again. I did really enjoy it. So yeah.
also killer soundtrack.
Oh, killer soundtrack.
That was, I've never seen so many people like jam out in a full movie theater.
Right? I literally there was one point where I caught myself like singing the song as the scene and I was like, "Oh, let me not. Let me stop singing now."
Yeah. And no, it was good. It worked with the movie. It worked with where they were placed. It was just a good movie.
Yeah.
What was your watch of the week?
My watch of the week, I went and saw Fly Me to the Moon, which stars Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johansson and Woody Harrelson. I have to say, I thought I was going to enjoy the movie. I didn't go into it thinking it was going to be something like out of this world, no pun intended. Um, I actually really, really enjoyed this film. Like, it's not anything groundbreaking for sure for the rom-com genre by any stretch. But you know what? Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum actually had a lot more chemistry than I also imagined those two individuals would um, in the film together. I thought it was very much like enemies to lovers trope, which is always good. Enjoyed that. It was definitely new. It was refreshing to see a rom-com with such a new plot. Like I've never seen a NASA-based rom-com and it worked. Like it definitely worked. I loved Scarlett Johansson's character. She's like in the movie, if you haven't heard of it, she's basically like an advertising shark and she comes on to help NASA. And Channing Tatum is the head of Apollo 11 mission and for, of course, the first moon landing. And she's trying to help him advertise it to the public to help get funding and that kind of stuff. But he kind of doesn't want any part of this. He doesn't want that to be happening. And Woody Harrelson's character works actually for the White House for the president, and he brings her into it. So it's very much like back and forth. The only thing I did feel is that it did drone on a little bit. It's just over 2 hours. It's actually longer than Twisters because Twisters is like two, and this movie is like 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Dang.
So by the third act, it was lagging a little bit because you get to one scene and you're like, oh, okay, this is what's going to happen. And then it kind of goes on for like another 20 minutes and it's like, oh, okay, we're still going.
Woo.
Um, but they definitely circle back around. I did like how it ended. But maybe they could have, cut to a chase a little quicker in some of the parts. But overall, I actually really enjoyed this. I'm glad I went and saw it. So it's still in theaters. You can go catch it in theaters now, but it's just a fun, like little summer rom-com. It's something different, refreshing, so it's great.
Yeah. I mean, we're going on the topic of weekly things. So, what was your song of the week?
I like how we always find different transitions for this every week. It makes me laugh.
Mhm.
But staying in country, as I do every single week, I've really been listening to Luke Bryan's song Love You, Miss You, Mean It, which came out in April of this year, April 5th, it came out. I love it. I hadn't, you know what, growing up, I was a huge Luke Bryan fan. He was my first country concert I went to with friends when I was in high school. Um, but I kind of fell off of his music a little bit lately. I think just because I've listened to it so much throughout my life that hearing those songs, I'm like, okay, I need something new. So I didn't listen to the song right away when it came out. In the last few months, I've been listening to it, and every time it comes on the radio, I love it. It's such a catchy song. It has a very upbeat tune to it. I think it's really so sweet. So it's a great song. So you should go listen to that. And what is your song of the week, Gracie?
You already know what my song of the week is because
I
I was
do.
so surprised by this announcement. I'm pretty sure I sent it to you before I even like listened to it. But So Cold by August Moon. If you thought a fictional boy band wouldn't make more real music, you were very wrong because
And
they
if you thought we were done talking about Nicholas Galstein on here, you were also very wrong.
this is the resurgence of boy bands. Like it's giving One Direction, but for a movie. And I love this band. I love this band. So when they were like, hey, we saw the comments that you want a new song. Here's another song. I was like, wow, I really hope they're getting paid overtime for this because the movie, The Idea of You, is like done and over with. I mean, it'll always be iconic, but like it had its moment. Now everybody's kind of like moving on, but no one is moving on from this boy band. So I love it. And I hope they keep coming out with music. And I hope they come out with another album. And I hope they go on tour. And if you cannot tell, I'm their biggest supporter. Um, yeah, it's a good summer song. Like I don't know how to describe it other than like I've said it, it's a boy band. Like it's giving One Direction when they released the Take Me Home album. So
I love it.
I love it. No comment. Thank you to whoever decided to release this.
I love you like everyone's moving on from the movie, but no one is moving on from this.
Dude, you can't just drop the best boy band we've had in years and then be like, okay, bye.
Oh man, Gracie won't let it happen, so it's just not happening.
No, sir. It's
No.
they're going on tour. I'm having a call with management. It's happening.
Gracie's gonna be up on stage with them, just in case you were wondering.
I'm like, if they announce a tour and I don't get tickets solely based off of this podcast and how much I talk about them, I'm gonna have a problem.
I'm gonna send them the video and be all the videos and be like, listen, you're making a mistake.
Here's a compilation of every time Gracie has fangirled over these fictional characters.
I'm not gonna make an edit of Nicholas Goldstein and August Moon. I'm gonna make an edit of you.
At this point, I don't know why I don't run their official account.
Right? Like I just assume every time I see an edit or something that you've made it. You're
You're like,
just
wow, Gracie is booked and busy.
Gracie's just on the deep, dark part of the web when I'm not when I'm not talking to her. She's just secretly she says she's at work, but I secretly think she's making August Moon edits all day.
Goes back to I'm working late because I'm a singer. Yeah, anyway, moving on from this obsession. We have a lot of upcoming releases in the future. So, Nicole, why don't you start us off?
Oh, good. I haven't even stopped laughing yet. Okay, so August 1st, today, we have two streaming platform releases. We have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which is on Netflix, which is, of course, a miniseries based off the book of the same name. Gracie and I were just talking about this before we started recording, but I don't think either of us have read the book, but both of us had the intention to, but it just
We
never
got
happened.
the book. It's just there.
Gracie's farther than I am. I don't have the book. But I'm very excited for this. I'm very much like, if you haven't been able to tell yet through this podcast, I'm very much like a thriller, mystery, horror fan. So I'm very excited for this. I love a good mystery series or movie. So I'm excited to watch this series. And then today we also have coming out on Prime Video Influenced, which is actually a talk show arena with influencers inside of the talk show. So it's basically led by content creators that you might know from online. The series spans, according to Yahoo Entertainment, spans 10 30-minute episodes and will be co-hosted by social media stars where they talk about traditional talk show topics. They actually have new audiences. And it's an evolution of the talk show format, bridging the gap between social media and TV, led by a panel of top content creators with varying spheres of influence and interest, and featuring subject matter experts whose business were built across mediums. Influenced Influenced encompasses all things lifestyle, from food, fashion, home design, travel and beauty to entertainment, pop culture, mental health, spirituality, and wellness. In case you're wondering which content creators, you can catch IL Booker, Taffy Pessoa, Taryn Delaney Smith, Cyrus Vesey. I'm sorry, I probably butchered some of those names. But yeah, that is on Prime today. So you can catch that today. And that is all according to Yahoo Entertainment. That is what you can catch on streaming today. Gracie, what is coming out tomorrow, August 2nd?
I'm super excited for this next release. Trap is a movie that's coming out in theaters. This director is so well known for plot twists and just keeping you on the edge of your seat. So I'm super excited. I'm a huge fan of his work. And this film was actually shot in Toronto. So it's gonna be cool to watch it, like see all the different places being turned into something that's not Toronto. But yeah, I'm super excited. Can't wait to see. For those of you who don't know, it follows a dad and his daughter who go to a concert. The father quickly finds out that the concert is actually a setup to catch a serial killer named the Butcher. And from what the trailer shows, the Butcher does seem to be the father, but I highly doubt they would give it away in the trailer. So there's gonna be some twists and turns, and it's gonna be guessing until the last second.
Yeah, like you, I'm very excited for this film. It was funny, like, because being filmed in Toronto, well, the first time I saw the trailer, I was at the movies with my sister, and I was like, I think that's the Rogers Center, because all the outside is filmed at the Rogers Center, and then the all the inside interior shots are actually filmed at the First Ontario Concert Hall in Hamilton. Um, but yeah, what's interesting I read about this film the other night is M. Night Shyamalan said that they actually filmed for the most part in chronological order. So the very first shot we see is actually the very first shot they filmed, which I think is very interesting, and I would love to hear more and to read more about why he chose to shoot it like that. I think that's cool. He said all of the concert sequences were shot in order too, as well. So I think that's very interesting. I would love to know why, like he chose that way. But I think this will definitely be good, and I agree with you for the trailer too. Um, that they wouldn't give, especially him, he would not give the twist out in a trailer. Like, obviously, there's stuff he doesn't want us to see, and he probably wants us to think a certain way, as if, like, oh, we already know the twist, or we already know for sure who the killer is. So I think it'll be very interesting to see. Yeah,
I love that you brought up the fact that it was shot it was shot in chronological order because he's been posting like fun little behind the scenes things on his Instagram leading up to the release. And one of the ones that I really loved was he wrote, "Fun fact, one cinematic rule of the film trap was you could never get closer to the concert stage than the characters. If they got closer, then you got closer." And I
oh,
think that's so smart.
yeah.
He also shared Trap was the fastest script I've ever written at 5.5 months. Sign was the fastest before it at 6 months. Even though the films both have dark elements, both had me laughing every day when I sat down to write them. He also goes on to say how he picked Josh Hartnett to be the lead in this, saying that they both are fathers and they just had a lunch and they were talking about their lives and he just knew that he was the guy to play it. Yeah, I think it's such a cool way that he decides to film his movies. Like if you've ever seen any of his other movies, you know what I'm talking about, but they just make you question everything. And I love that, but I also hate it. So that to him.
Yeah, this will definitely be a creepy one too, especially that it's shot where we go to concerts and stuff regularly. I'm gonna
Yeah,
be like, oh gosh, why?
yeah. But yeah, moving on from scary, we have Harold and the Purple Crayon, which is coming to theaters. I am also very excited for this one. I think it's just a cute feel-good movie, but I think it's gonna be funnier than we expect it to be, but also like very heartfelt.
Yeah,
And I'm pretty sure it's based off of a book.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think it is too.
yeah, so that'll be good. It's coming out August 2nd as well, and it's in theaters, so you can go see one after the other.
Double feature.
Yeah.
But when I first saw the trailer for this one too, I hadn't thought of the book Harold and the Purple Crayon in years. And so when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, what a throwback. But I love how Zachary Levi really embraces like the family roles. I think he does a great job of making these movies that families can enjoy, like Shazam, and things like that. He does such a great job with them. Zoe Deschanel, love her. So it'll be fun. I think it looks good from the trailer. So it'll be an exciting movie that you can see with anyone in your family. We also have a few music releases coming out. Maren Morris's new EP, Intermission, also comes out tomorrow, August 2nd, along with Khalid's new album, Sincere, also comes out. And on Apple TV Plus, you can catch the documentary Cowboy Cartel. Cowboy Cartel is the unbelievable true story of unlikely hero Scott Lawson, a rookie FBI agent from rural Tennessee, whose investigation took down the Trevino brothers, the leaders of Lo Zeta, one of the most powerful cartels in Mexico. While the Trevinos terrorized thousands in their pursuit of power, money, and influence, Lawson risked his life on a hunch, tracking their brothers' racehorse transactions in the US, infiltrating the deadly cartel, and uncovering their international money laundering operations. So it's this documentary features first-time interviews with the FBI agent Lawson, who broke the case, IRS agent Steve Pennington, Irving police officers Steve Junker, Brian Shute, and Kim Williams, and loads more. So that it's a series, so it is a series. It's not a film, so it's a documentary series, and that also comes out tomorrow on Apple TV Plus. So if you're into that kind of stuff, that's definitely something interesting to watch, and you can watch it then.
Lots of good releases coming up.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Can't wait to see a bunch of these and listen to them. But yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
there's gonna be more next week anyway.
But I promise we'll be back with more releases. But that is all we have today. So thank you so much for tuning in to As Seen on Screen. I'm Nicole.
I'm Gracie, and you can watch and listen to us wherever you get your podcasts on Spotify and YouTube.
Yes, and we will see you same time, same place next week. Bye.
Bye.